Before we get started, this is yet again another Talking with James channel video, and because of that, I'm going to be playing random gameplay over my conversation with James. Crazy, isn't it? And make sure to check out the main channel where I make actual effortful content. And with all that being said, please enjoy. So DMC 5 SE makes a few changes that I think are good. I still think there's a lot of wasted potential of what they can do with this, with another addition, but whatever. I think the best ones are probably turbo mode and faster loading times, because DMC 5's original loading times were just, oh my god, they took so long, man. They took forever.
So, have you played the Legendary Dark Knight mode?
Yes, I have.
Is it good?
It's good for 2 characters and terrible for another 2 characters. Take a guess of which one's who.
It's good for Virgil and Dante, and bad for Nero and V.
Actually, it's good for Nero and Virgil, bad for Dante and V.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So yeah, LDK is kind of a mess. I think I asked like some people in the server what they thought of the LDK as like a mode, and they thought some thought it was kind of wasted potential. Others thought that it was decent but not great. The issues with like LDK with Dante and V is that they don't have a lot of options in terms of pure crowd control. Like Dante's crowd control is very specific, and it provides you only to like deal with like a certain amount of enemies. He is good to deal with like 5 or 6 like at once, but he can't do like 100. And this is also the case for V. V just does not have any tools in his toolkit to take care of.
V is what stops me from fucking completing DMC 5 on Dante Must Die.
Yeah.
It got me all the way fucked up if you think that I'm going to waste all of my time playing as fucking V and doing his stupid ass levels and like getting rage quit inducingly mad.
But
no thanks.
But press the auto combo button, James. Come on. Just press
Dude, I don't need the auto combo button. I literally press all the buttons at the same time when I play as V. I literally just do, okay, cool. I have one finger fucking spam and shoot. I have another one doing a fucking pause combo over and over. I have one fucking constantly doing this.
But read the book, James. You don't understand the book.
Yeah, I gotta read the Edgar Allan Poe, man.
Yeah, it's super important to the game, I swear. Yeah, so like I was saying, his V's options is just terrible. You think he's bad in the current game mode? LDK, he's way worse, man. He's way worse. It's not even a competition. But it works for Nero and Virgil, mostly because Virgil has like a ton of super crowd control moves. Like Beowulf does like way more in terms of getting, characters. Force Edge is, throwing dash. His Yamato move where he like spins around and controls time. Nero's good in LDK because of his exceed system. If you know how to get max act, or like generally find it, easy to do a lot of his, exceeds, then you're gonna have a good time in LDK, because you can deal with like a lot of enemies at once. Due to you having like the ability to like chain multiple attacks at once, so you'll be good. The issue with LDK is more so like 2 major things, like when it comes outside of characters, mostly the lock-on issue. The lock-on in DMC5 SE LDK is terrible, man, because you swear like you want to lock onto an enemy right in front of you and then do the input that you want to. The game's like, no. How about we lock you to a guy halfway in Japan? And I was like, oh, okay, how nice. And then you have to like adjust to that, and then once you put the input in, you realize, oh wait, that's nowhere near where I want it, so you lock on again for the same issue to happen, and it's like, no, how about we put you in the Philippines? And it's like, oh, thanks, how nice. So the lock-on issue is a problem. And then there's also the problem of enemy attacks. When you're in LDK, it is impossible to see the attacks incoming. So basically what your strategy is that you're just going to cowardly stay in the air, max act or use certain moves in the air where you can actually engage with the enemy versus just like trying to attack in ground pace combos like as you would for the rest of the game. But yeah, one of the stupid things that I find with SE in particular is the DLC weapons. So James, so you know those DLC weapons that you couldn't bring into Bloody Palace?
Yeah.
You still can't do it in DMC 5 SE.
Oh, what the fuck?
I know, right? It doesn't make sense. You if they bought this edition, they will have all the DLC equipment. Why can't I just bring it into Bloody Palace? I don't understand.
I don't know, dude. I don't know why. There's a lot of I don't know why with DMC5.
And that's actually something that I want to touch upon is like I think there's a lack of chance to do something greater with this edition. Like this came out a year after the game already came out, and they were like, well, okay, here's Virgil now, LDK and Turbo mode. That's it. Goodbye. Thank you. Gaia Desne. And then they just kind of left. You know, I feel like, number one, we could have added Lady and Trish again. I know that Lady and Trish weren't that good in DMC4, but then again, I thought Virgil in DMC3 wasn't that good either. So I don't think it's a matter of, like, the first game you're going to nail the character right away. You know? Like, you're not gonna, like, Dante in 5 took 5 whole games to get that way, you know? It took him multiple games to build up to be a good character. Nero, even to an extent, you know, took 2 games in order to, you know, even reach a fraction of his potential, you know? So I still feel like if they had more time with Trish and Lady, I think that they could make them good characters. Like, what if they added Artemis or Spiral, some of the weapons from DMC4, you know? And Lady's actually, not Lady, Trish is actually decent, but she just needs more fine-tuning. But no, James, we only get Virgil, and only but Virgil. We don't get, like, another 3 characters that we've already worked on. We just get, like, a doppelganger that, like, only has 1/3 of his moveset, even though in DMC Devil May Cry he had access to all of it, but whatever.
Alright. Well, it's not even just like, well, one, I didn't even think Lady and Trish were bad in DMC4. I thought they were fun as fuck to play as, if I'm being perfectly honest. I thought that they were like kind of easy mode characters because they were just all overpowered moves all the time. They were fun. I had a fucking blast playing as them in 4. It was some of the only times I actually enjoyed my time playing DMC4. It not only took Nero DMC4 and 5 to get to where he is now, it took DMC4 and 5 and Dante gameplay from DMC Devil May Cry to get Nero to where he is now. And it's kind of a bummer that LDK is as uneven as it is, because for me, I felt like that was what DMC5 was screaming for, was like an LDK type of mode, because the enemies just die too fucking fast. I feel like part of the issue why I've never really sat down and hunkered down and made a combo video with DMC5 is because I feel like the enemies die before I can even figure out what kind of combo I want to do to them. You know, and I don't want to be that dumbass that just sits there in training mode and fucking wails on an enemy forever. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. It's easy to fucking wail on a punching bag. It's easy to style on something that doesn't fight back. But when I want to play it in the game and actually fight the enemies, they die immediately before I can even get to S. And so I felt like, well, maybe it needs more enemies. But then I get what you're saying, where it's like the lock-on doesn't work and it doesn't crowd control because it's trying to be like old DMC, not reboot DMC, where everybody has like 13 different crowd control moves. And Bloody Palace was a disappointment. The whole multiplayer aspect was a disappointment.
No, James. You don't understand the complexity of the multiplayer. You see, James, instead of actually getting to play with your friend, you get to see him a mile away doing their own combos. Isn't that cool, James?
You get to see your friends? I get to see randoms on the internet.
Exactly, isn't that great? And then they pop up and then they're like, hey, you want to give them a thumbs up? And you go, okay. And then that's it. Isn't that great, James?
Oh yeah, it's great. This was just burn off, by the way. I would much rather have played with my friends. I also don't get why still after all this time we can't get Bloody Palace mode on launch. I don't know why we can't get a co-op Bloody Palace, which is all you need for Devil May Cry multiplayer. Maybe a 1v1 mode. And that's it. And I don't know why that's that hard for them to figure it out. The 1v1 mode could even be part of Bloody Palace. It could literally just be, okay, cool, you play on the Bloody Palace map, but you fight another dude, like another character. But no, we had to do this weird, like, oh, you watched the guy do the thing? And, like, 99.9% of the time, the dude that you're playing with is not doing anything interesting. And also, 100% of the time, you're focused on your playing to even fucking notice what they're doing.
Oh, no. This is even better in DMC 5 SE because, you see, if you play on turbo mode, you don't get access to the servers at all.
Oh, so it just becomes a null and void feature.
Yep, yep.
Because nobody thought that people that play Devil May Cry would like turbo mode, right? It's not like once I unlock turbo mode, I just turn it on and keep it on.
Exactly.
Yeah, but oh no, so complex. The super fucking eye patch wolf or whatever fucking told the fucking internet that was the case. And we're just glad that Dante has the white hair again.
Yeah, that's better. It's not like Ninja Theory were actively trying to make as many changes as possible to appease fans, even going as far as to remove the stupid hat or anything. No. They don't understand. He has the white hair now, and now we gotta wait like 10 more years for the next game. Isn't it nice?
Right? Fucking Ruben Langdon's gonna be in a fucking old folks' home by the time they make fucking DMC 6.
No, they don't even need him anymore. They're just gonna have Nero again. And then that'd be their only character.
Behind him! Johnny Young Bosch is not far behind Ruben Langdon in the line towards that old folks' home. He's been around for a while.
I mean, in a sense, it's kind of like the reboot, isn't it? Like, you know, one Dante character gets removed for another Dante-like character. I mean, the parallels are similar.
Well, I mean, again, it's why I think DMC's problems could have been completely fixed if they just named El Dante Nero. That's all you had to do.
Yep. I feel like that too. I mean, there's a lot of different ways we could have, but and I'm just upset that we have to wait so long and they don't put out any content for DMC because it's weird because the development team, like behind Devil May Cry, you know, do want to do more games. They're pumped for it. You know, they loved it. You know,
right.
It's also like the history behind it. You know, because the original DMC crew, okay. So the first DMC crew, which was like Platinum Games, they went to do their own thing. So they had a new team that worked mostly on arcades, and they worked on DMC too. Then they saw the reception, and they were like, "Oh, we made a bad game." And Insuno was like, "Okay, guys, here, I think you guys could, you know, use some fine tuning, and you guys could be great developers." So that helped them to create DMC3. So like, without that second chance of redemption with DMC3, you know, some of these developers might not even stuck around or have a job, you know. So like, fuck. I mean, they should do more with this series. Like, Lady and Trish should be in the game. Like, where's a reboot-like character that could, you know, spice up the game a bit more? Like, I don't know why they refuse to put effort into it, and I have a feeling that it's mostly Insuno, because Insuno's the only guy that's doing the actual legwork to try and keep DMC alive, but even him's kind of, you know, old and doesn't want to do it, you know? So, like...
All right. Itsuno wants to just make Dragon's Dogma. He's like, this is really what I want to do. I kind of just took over this series from someone else. And I'm sure he doesn't want to stick on it forever, but I think you're right in terms of, like, damn, what the fuck is Capcom doing? And it's because you can't get Capcom to make a game that doesn't have Street or Evil in the title.
No, the craziest thing about this is Bury the Light, right? A song that came from a special edition of the game is so popular, I can ask my friend to sing it, and he doesn't even know what DMC is. That's crazy.
That's true. Bury the Light. That's the thing, though. That's the power of memes, though. It's because it's like, I've never watched a single fucking episode of the X-Files in my entire goddamn life, but I can hear that theme song from a mile away because that means the Illuminati's afoot.
Exactly.
It's like how many people, or like I saw this one video where it was like my girlfriend asked me to play Metal Gear Rising, and it was because she wanted to, and I quote, play the game that has the dude punching the United States senator over and over.
Dude, Metal Gear Rising is on another level, man.
For real.
It's funny
But
because like it's funny because it's like on paper sounds like the most gamey game there ever was, but to be honest, the story's far better than the gameplay.
I have such a love-hate relationship with MGR. Not only from it being like the game that everyone used to shit talk the DMC reboot and me kind of like not liking it for that, to me liking, the stealth shit from Metal Gear Solid and being like, I really don't know if I want to play an action game in the NGS world, and to, oh, this soundtrack's really fucking good, to some of these fucking encounters are ass though, and this weapon switching is from the devil.
No, you have to go into the menu to pick it, man. Come on.
Yeah, like, ugh.
Dude,
Like all great action games do, right?
but here's the thing about Metal Gear Rising is that like I think it's like in my opinion at least, I think it's like the overrated but underrated game all at the same time. Where I feel like people that have never played an action game or a character action game, like never picked up Devil May Cry, never played Bayonetta, and play this game and they go, oh my god, the music's so cool, and like the senator does the thing where he like punches people and stuff, and then standing here, I realize, and then, and then there's people that actually played the action games that have like hardcore into DMC, Bayonetta, Beautiful Joe, or whatever, right? Or Hi-Fi Rush even, right? Play this game and they go, this combat really isn't that deep or that great. It's just, you gotta slice and dice the characters for the 4th millionth time,
Right.
So I feel like it's underrated and overrated at the same time,
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. It's an entertaining game, but I don't think it deserves to be like, this is the bestest action game ever made. Because Bayonetta 1 would like to have a word with you, because it is the best action game ever made. Sorry.
I agree. I need to go back to play Bayonetta 1. I have it downloaded, but I haven't picked it up yet because I've been playing other games. Hi-Fi Rush is also pretty up there, but it's not like the greatest action game, but it's still pretty, pretty good. But
the thing that sucked, and I know, and it's Bayonetta 1 specifically, because I tried playing Bayonetta 2 again, and it does not give me the same feeling. But, like, when I play Bayonetta 1, it's, like, the game that makes me, like, re-fall in love with that type of game. Like, every time I go back to it and I play it, I'm like, oh yeah, this was why I liked this shit.
Dude, that's the same. That I actually tried replaying it when I did. I forget when I replayed it specifically, but I couldn't get past the first level. Not because it was hard or anything, but because I was enjoying the combat too much. I was trying to like learn all the moves before I move forward into the actual difficult parts of the game. Like Bayonetta 1 is so good at keeping just amount of your stuff limited, but also giving you enough to do as much crazy shit as possible.
Well, right. Well, that's what I like, because it was like what I was talking about with DMC 3 and DMC 4 and like the Switch port letting you pick all the styles and shit. Bayonetta makes you make choices with what you bring with you, and you have to build a play style around it, but that also means that you become more familiar with it, you learn it, and you start actually like doing cool shit because you start understanding the weapons more, because you have to work with what you have. Bayonetta is just so good.
It really is. I agree. The only thing that can make it better is control switching, because I would like to play by buttons.
True. If they had like some kind of customizable controls or something, it would be undoubtedly like one of the best games ever.
Yeah. And the only game that really competes with that, in my opinion, is DMC 3. Mostly because like DMC 3's like is so tight, like in terms of an experience. Like they put a lot of time into making each individual weapon have purpose, So
yeah, it is. I mean, it's kind of a depressing thought, but it's also like, I mean, that's how good of a game that was, where it's like out of how many years DMC3 is still the best one.
I mean, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why DMC5 is so disappointing is because, like, you can still compete with DMC3. Like, it's possible. You just have to add more to the game, you know? And not have weapons that have, like, 3 other weapons inside the weapon because you don't want to give one more Dante slot, you know? Or weapon slot, you know? But
All right, well, to me, what I think it is that they need to quit fucking. They need to quit doing what they've been doing, which is let's just jam the game full of as many characters as possible and make them all play the same like 3 levels 15 times and like fuck, just give me a game, make the game that Devil May Cry 4 was supposed to be, right, where it was supposed to be like after DMC3 but still kind of before 1 and shit like that. Like, it was supposed to be some kind of, like, weird different point in the timeline. But make another game that's just Dante, and just give him the weapons from DMC3, and then add more on top of those.
yes, thank you. That's what I've been trying to. And if you can't do that, then introduce DLC that can, right? Like,
Right.
I don't know why they keep handicapping themselves intentionally. Like, if you have said weapons like Cerberus, like Nevada, like fucking Agni and Rudra, right? Then just carry them on into the next game. Why is it a story point where they are like, oh, but Dante actually sells his weapons? And I'm like, why?
Why? Well, right. Well, that's the other thing, is it's like, okay, tell me you wouldn't fucking kill somebody to see what they could do with, like, Nevin, with Devil May Cry 5's fighting system.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Right.
Nirvana would be just like Nirvana all sat in a weird place in terms of DMC3's design. It was probably the only like odd weapon out. But if you were to put that with an overall grander playstyle, it could really work. Like, when I was making my DMC3 script a long time ago, which never came to fruition, I noticed that, like, Nevada actually really works for, like, this super aggressive crowd control, like, mechanic that made the weapons so interesting. And if you put that in DMC5, bam, you've already got yourself a killer system right there.
Right, you already have a crowd control weapon. Or, need I say, like, Pandora in DMC5? Like, give me the briefcase gun back.
I mean,
like, holy shit.
I think it could use some retooling because the gamer chair was a bit fucking stupid. But, like, it was a pretty good... I like the idea of having a gun where, like, you can shoot multiple times in the air. I think that was great.
Right, I like the idea of it, like, having the different, like, stages of use and shit, I think are all interesting, and, like, DMC5 made a bunch of stuff that felt like way too difficult to do with Dante work. So, like, imagine DMC5 having Lucifer or Pandora or any of, like, the other 4 weapons and shit like that, or the other 3 weapons. I mean, fuck, retool the reboot weapons and bring them in. I'm sure old Dante wants some fucking spinny blades.
Or Osiris, or the fucking Arbiter that did, like, triple S damage, please. Like, I don't know why the fans themselves have to, like, create stuff in order just to get their game some content. I think Capcom, after DMC4 remake, or realizing how much potential the remake, market can have, I'm thinking, I hope and pray that they're thinking about, remaking DMC 1, 2, or 3,
Dude. If they remade Devil May Cry 1 with the technology from 5, oh my god.
It would literally be one of the best DMC games. But you have to the problem is that you would have to get more weapons. Because, like, the weapons in DMC1 weren't that good, and, were only, like, slight variations. But even if you fix that and said, hey, look, he has his weapons from... Oh, that's the perfect timing! They could rewrite the continuity of the games like they did with some of the Resident Evil games and say, hey, since this takes place after 3, you start off with all DMC3 weapons, or you get them throughout the journey of DMC1. Boom! Perfect.
Well, right. That would, like... Wouldn't it be nice if he had all of his DMC3 weapons with him because he kept them? And I was like, oh yeah, I used this to fight my brother. Or like they could rewrite the story so that, we don't have to hear about filling someone's dark soul with light anymore.
Light. Yeah, that was actually, dude. That was all because the translator thought it was funny, so kept it in the game, bro. I mean, I feel like us DMC fans could bitch about DMC for like ever, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah. But that's the thing though, is it's like, fuck, why do fans have to end up being the ones that like to make content for their games that actually is worth a damn? Unfortunately, a lot of like DMC fans can't even get to that point where they know what they want. Because so much of them are just fixated on like superficial garbage. The graphics don't look as anime as before.
Yeah, James, come on. We don't like anime in our games. Come on, we gotta put super realism. We gotta put the animes. Man, they can never make up their minds. It's
Right.
like it's so weird. Like the funny thing is that like when like before SE came out, everybody was like Virgil, 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 and only like a few people were like, well, maybe Trish and Lady. And then when they came out with Virgil, they were like, wait, where's Trish and Lady? I don't understand. I don't get it.
Well, right. Well, I think that was also because people were expecting Devil May Cry 5 to have DLC content like Resident Evil 7 had. Where it's like, yeah, here's two actual fucking straight up story expansions, and then like two different fucking like bonus game modes, and like all of that shit. Like they go ham when they fucking want to make Resident Evil DLC. They'll fucking pack an entire new or like fucking Village Gold Edition, where it's like, yeah, cool, now you can play as a big titty vampire lady in the mercenaries mode and shit like that. It's like, you never get shit like that for DMC.
Yeah, it's only Street Fighter and Resident Evil games. That's the only games that they care about. Capcom doesn't give a shit about DMC, sadly.
They only care about it's Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and Monster Hunter. That's it.
Oh yeah, Monster Hunter, that one too, definitely. But like, damn. So
Well, it sucks.
I'm definitely gonna
Yeah,
segment.
definitely.
I'm gonna segment this and put it in the server, and then all the. I can't wait for like Hollow or Eddie to like hear about this shit and say exactly, you know.
Right. For real.